Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We are live today at Tel-Tec, and I am with Tasha Clayton, the General Manager. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for inviting us on.
Well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your position?
Absolutely. So as Mary Lou stated, my name is Tasha Clayton with Tel-Tec Security, and I'm the General Manager here. And I am looking forward to talking to you guys from a salesperson perspective.
As a General Manager, what does that entitle?
That entitles oversight of the entire organization. So there's several departments, several managers, and being a part of an executive team to make sure that we make the correct decisions for the company going forward.
Now, what exactly does Tel-Tec do?
Tel-Tec is an electronic security firm, and it's really cool because we have the opportunity to provide people peace of mind either for their businesses or their homes by installing electronic security equipment that we can monitor.
How long have you been in business here in Bakersfield?
Over 35 years.
35 years?
Yep, 35 years.
Wow. How did it come about? How did your business come about?
Well, it's actually family owned. So my father, Morgan Clayton, is the founder and business owner, and he actually had a dream or an idea of something that he wanted to do, and he didn't give up on it, and he pursued it, and this is where we are today. And I'm looking forward to being the second generation to keep his dream going.
So kind of go in, you say it's security systems, correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay, what does that entitle? How can we take it from the top of, kind of walk us through a little bit?
Sure. Okay, so by security systems, I mean burglar alarms. So basically, a house, you can install a burglar alarm, or at a school, you may have a fire alarm system, or at a business, you can have an access control system, which I'll show you kind of the equipment a little bit later. We'll get into that. And then we also do cameras. Everyone knows what cameras are. Cameras are huge. They're on your phones, they're at businesses, and they're all different ways to protect people and also to make us aware when the wrong people are in areas we don't want them to be.
And also in homes, because I know cameras are becoming really big.
Yes.
In people's homes, not inside, but also outside.
Absolutely correct, because you never know when someone's walking the neighborhood that shouldn't be there, or at the same time, if you are home and you want to be able to buzz someone in without going to the door, it's a good way to have visual reference to before, just verifying someone's identity.
So you do the security systems, you do the cameras, burglar. Anything else besides that does your company do?
Well, like I mentioned, the fire alarm systems and access control, and something that's super cool is even though all those things are entirely different, we can also integrate them together. So for example, sometimes to protect schools best, we may use an intercom system in addition with a burglar alarm system, in addition with yard beams, so that in the event someone's not where they're supposed to be and they trip something, meaning that it goes off and it makes a siren sound, we'll actually get the visual here, and instead of immediately involving our police department, we can actually have an audio interaction with them to tell them, hey, hey Mary Lou, you in the blue shirt, you need to leave because you're not supposed to be here. And then from there, lots of times that will scare them away because then they're thinking, someone from the sky is talking to me, I better go.
So it's like the all-call system, like in a school.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So can they talk back to you? Say, "Oh, wait a minute,
No.
I'm trying to code in and I can't."
No,
help."
they don't, and they usually are not talking back. They're usually running at that point in time. We actually have a video. It's super funny of someone who was actually taking something, and then they're like, "Whoa!" and they put it back and then ran off. It was super funny.
So you have some equipment here.
Yes.
Can you kind of go explain what the equipment is?
Absolutely. So this here is what we call our control panel. It's basically like a brain. So like we have a brain that holds information so that it needs to record the information, it needs to remember information so that if we give ourselves a command, like right now if I tell myself to wave my hand, I'm waving my hand, this brain here needs to know if we need to turn it on or off, or if it needs to know what specific zones to pay attention to. So when I say zones, like a window or a door. So I can literally tell this, I need you to pay very close attention to this door or not that door.
Will it do certain areas, say the middle of my living room?
Absolutely.
Can that be a zone
Absolutely.
as well?
And I'm glad you said areas, because that's actually one of the things that we use in our language a lot. So we can have specific areas. So we can have a motion detector, as you said, in a particular area. It can watch that area. But let's say you also have like a back shop, like maybe you have like a hobby back there. So your alarm system could know we're either talking about the motion that's in the shop or the motion that's in the living room.
And that is one of these, correct?
Absolutely. So that's our motion detector right here. So this particular one would be a center motion detector that you'd want to put in the corner of a wall, so that way it projects outward. So imagine a triangle. So the tip of a triangle at the very top, if we put it there, then it's going to project outwardly to the other two end tips. So the whole point of that is to make sure that any motion, so whether you and I are walking through, or if it's a puppy, but even these things are sensitive. A little spider could set that off if it's going across it. Yeah.
And this obviously is real important.
Yes, that is our touchpad. So that as a green light or a red light, and when it's red, it means it's armed, and we would put in whatever code that we choose to put in to tell it when to be red, to be armed, and it acknowledges us to tell us when we've disarmed it by turning green. So green go, red stop.
Yeah, because I notice I have this at home, and I notice certain lights flash, like a yellow, there'll be a yellow or a green, you know, the lights are flashing. Now, what are these for?
Oh, these are super fun. So originally, before we mentioned that, we also do access control. And access control purely means that I can take one of these devices, wave it in front of a door or any place I'm supposed to have entry, and it'll open. So these basically do the exact same thing. This is just a larger version
of that
you can carry around your neck with a lanyard. And this can simply just be put on your keychain. And they're just super fun devices to wave in front of boxes, or even nowadays you can wave them in front of your keypads.
And when we come back, we are going to be kind of going through a floor plan and seeing exactly how this can set up, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
We are back live at Tel-Tec, and I am with Tasha Clayton, the general manager. And when we left off, we were talking about the type of equipment that you put in your house or in your business for security systems. Now, how can you tell where to put that equipment?
Oh, that's going to be the fun part. We're actually going to take you through an adventure. We're going to do a sample walk to pretend like you're the actual salesperson, where we're actually going to take you through a video where we can do some samples so that you can see exactly where to put things. But primarily, where you want to look to put things is wherever there's an opening. So windows, doors, or if there's any particular thing that you want to protect specifically.
What about walkways, like walking through, not, you know, with a door, but there's a walkway? Would that be important as well?
Absolutely, and I would probably suggest cameras in a walkway area, because walkways naturally attract people, right? And if that's what we're looking out for, and if you're really particular and you want to keep people out, we do have yard beams where instantly, if anything entered, it would immediately go off.
Oh,
so
with
absolutely.
Yard beams, do you only need one, or does it depend on the range of the area that you have?
It depends on the range. You have great questions. So you can have, at least probably need to build up with two, and then you go from there, because they have to talk to each other, right? So they're looking at it across each other, so it's like crossing over. You have to go through. There was a famous movie, I don't remember, but it's like, imagine like all these ropes crossed over in front of each other. So you're basically allowing whatever that's moving to cross through that area, and then there it allows the alert of, oh, something's wrong.
With that brain that we saw.
The brain,
The brain. Okay, can we see the video?
Absolutely. Oh, so I want to give you a little fun tip. So as we go through the video, see how many openings you can count that would require security. So all windows and doors, and you'll see them with a lot of glass. But let's begin our adventure, so let's go. Okay, so we're getting ready to come to the very front of this home, and the special thing about this home as we enter, the thing from a salesperson perspective, you never know what you're going to be entering. And go ahead.
So the windows, the door would be one, right?
Yeah.
And these windows, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what I'm looking at.
That's exactly what you're looking at. Seeing how quickly it goes, and it keeps going. But this is actually an example of a commercial property downstairs. So this flower shop, you can see there's lots of product in here that we want to protect and make sure that if anyone came in that we would quickly know, because this customer would want to make sure to protect their inventory, because that's how they're making their money. And the beautiful thing is we can quickly go up to a residential living space, so automatically we see the furniture has changed, right? But one thing that's still constant is you could see there were 2 more windows there, but it was super quick. and we're heading up the stairs, and we're going to see a beautiful living space. So when I talked about many departments earlier in the discussion, we have installers and service technicians. It's very important that when they're hanging these devices, that they're careful, that they have to make sure not to disrupt living space. They don't want to make sure that they break anything or that the customer becomes upset with something that they thought was going to protect them. And then this is about the area where we'll stop, because from there, I hope you got a good view of all those windows, and I hope you're counting, because at the end we'll ask to see how many you came up with.
Okay, question.
Sure.
With the stairs, would that be something important too, where you would need to put some kind of motion
Not
detector on?
necessarily, but sometimes you have different applications where, let's say someone maybe have someone elderly, or maybe there may be a child who has special needs where they shouldn't be in that area. So you can actually create systems inside the home for those particular needs for that particular client. So traditionally, no, but for a special customized case, absolutely, why not? It's whatever you want.
Okay. So what do we have here?
Okay, so this is part 2. When you're a salesperson, after you've gone out and done your job walk and you've gone to the residence, you have to come back to work with our design team to lay out a floor plan so that the customer sees exactly what they're going to be purchasing, and they can verify the exact areas they want to be protected.
Do you take their actual floor plans for this?
We can. Actually, there's some. So homes that already come with a floor plan, absolutely, because it's easy. It's already done for us. Or in this case, like this one didn't exist, we actually had our design team specifically do this for Do the Math today. So, would you like me to talk about the devices that were on the table? Okay, so these 3 devices, the burglar alarm panel, which is the brain, we talked about it, the touchpad, which turns the system on and off, and then the motion detector, which detects the movement, are the 3 devices we're going to talk about today as we build our proposal, because a proposal is basically what the customer is going to receive to see if they would like to purchase what now they've asked for. So this represents the entryway, those 2 doors that we saw going in from the very bottom. As soon as you walk in here, it's important to have a keypad because you need to be able to turn this system on and off. And then as you walk forward, you see all this open space. So if there was someone walking through that didn't need to be there, we would want a motion detector. So we've put it here in the center. And our brain is up here in the closet. We like to hide that. We don't want people to see where our brain is. It's where all the wires and connections are going to make sure that this touchpad in the motion detector works. And then our final touchpad, we have 2 here, is one back here in the bedroom, because if you're asleep at night and let's say your alarm goes off, you want to be able to look at the touchpad to see exactly what's going off and not feel that you have to run all the way to the front of the house to read it.
So when they take a tour first, your sales rep, when they take a tour first, then they will go ahead and get the floor plan and then kind of plan out and give this proposal to the client of where they think best.
Absolutely. So then the client can then decide, yes, that absolutely works for me, or I want to add more, or let's take it away and do less. And like I mentioned before, this is something very simple. There's so many different things you could do. You could have basically 5 devices in one room, but we just started this way just so that we can get the concept of what it's like to build the actual proposal.
Okay, so when we come back, you actually have a math problem for us on how you use math.
Yes.
Okay. We are back live at Tel-Tec, and I am with Tasha Clayton, the general manager. And where we left off, we were looking at the floor plan of and where to place the burglar alarm panel, the touch keypad, and the motion detector.
Absolutely. So now we're going to move on to our proposal, because we are ready after we decided which devices we wanted, where we want them to go. Now we have to make sure that we address the customer, and you guys are in luck because we have a very famous customer today. His name is Orange Justice. He lives at 1234 Battle Royale, Fortnite, California. So we are in luck, and we have to make sure we do it just right for our famous customer. So displayed are the items that we requested based upon the floor plan that we saw earlier. So the 2 touchpads, the 1 motion detector, and the 1 control panel. And then we can see here the material cost, the sales tax, the labor, and the total. And I'll get into how we got there on the next phase so that we can see that it's very important that we make sure the tax is only on the materials. We don't tax the labor. So we have to make sure that we be very mindful of that, because that could be a big mistake that's made.
Is that just because of California laws?
Exactly, exactly. So from there, oh, watch out though, Orange Justice says no to the second touchpad. He wants to use the app, because this is where technology comes in. So the touchpads that we talked about that could turn the systems on and off, We also have apps that can turn the systems on and off. So Orange Justice says no to that touchpad. You give me the app. So we're going to make sure now we have to do the math to change the proposal now to create the actual invoice so that the customer is pleased with their final payment that they make.
So that touchpad, when you
Yes.
walk in the house, will not be there. It's all on the phone?
It's all on the phone, so you can actually do it outside if you want. Mary Lou, you and I could do it right now from here, and we could disarm Orange Justice's house. So wherever you're at, that's the beauty of it. So if you want to let like a house cleaner in, or a babysitter, or if you just want to track your kids to see if they're coming in and out, the phone's a good way to do that.
Would that also with cameras?
You can,
Can you
absolutely.
look on your phone if
yeah,
you have
can
cameras
look
set
and see
up?
if you have it set up that way. Absolutely, you can look at your cameras to see who's there, because sometimes if you're expecting a package, that's very important that you want to make sure you go and receive it. You can go get it that way, or if you just want to verify the actual babysitter is not bringing a guest, that
That too.
it's a control factor,
Yes.
right? So it's pretty cool, and like I said, you can do it for anywhere, so it's pretty fun.
Oh, can you have both though? Can you have the phone and still have the touchpad as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the best way to do it. That's the way I do it. So just in case, we're human, what if we lose our phones or
Forget
something
it
goes wrong?
somewhere.
Yeah, it's just nice to always have a fail-safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to have them all, but right, I'm probably biased, right?
Well, let's see what's happening here.
Okay, so this is our actual math problem here. So remember, Orange Justice said no way to that 2 touchpads. We're only going to do 1. So if you look at the quantities here, which is very important, as we talked about counting beforehand, you have to pay attention to your quantities here. So here we realize that 1 touchpad is $75, and originally we had a total of $150 because we had 2. But now we're recognizing Orange Justice says no. So we're taking 1 out, so that shows the minus 75, which we're demonstrating there. So from there, everything else remains the same. The 1 motion detector is still 40, the 1 panel is still 150, so therefore, if you do the math with me, the equipment total should be $265. This is where most people make a mistake that you need to pay attention. We now, as I stated before, are going to do our tax rate, which is a 7.25% based upon where we live here in Kern County. And that tax rate of 7.25%, we're going to calculate that by moving that decimal point over to multiply our 265 equipment total cost times the 0.0725.
Okay, so you've added all these up. Well, you credited, you subtracted that out to get your total of 265. So
Absolutely.
obviously, students would have to need to know how to multiply.
Yes, that's
Their
very
decimals.
important, very important. And then once we get our tax total, we are now ready to begin to take our original equipment total plus our tax total to get our total equipment cost with tax, which is the $284.21.
And then you have your labor, obviously, and then we have
Yes.
our final at the end of $484.21, which we will give to Mr. Justice to see
Yes.
what he likes.
Yes, Orange Justice will be pleased that what he wants matches the invoice total, which is what we see here. And Mary Lou, I think that looks like the same number, right?
Yes.
$484.21. So
Well, Tasha, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so
so
much.
Now, you have one quick thing for everybody?
yes, we do. We have our trivia. We don't want to forget that. So make sure you go to the social media page so that you can check your answer. And I heard it will be posted. We'll put the answer on there for you so that you can see how many openings that you counted to see if it matches what we have.
Great. Well, thank you
Thank
again.
you
It's
so
been
much
a
for-
pleasure.
It was great.